Hey, what's up? It's Bill the Universe, and I'm going to do the birth chart reading of Liam Payne. So, rest in peace, Liam Payne. Let's get started. So, he has a lot of beauty placements. Of all the placements I see beauty being most of it. I also see that he's a natural musician. So, let's get started on the beauty first of all. His sun is in the fourth Navamsa of Cancer. Yes, this is Vedic astrology. So this is different astrology. So try to hang. Yes, his sun is in the fourth Pada, is in the fourth Navamsa of Cancer. That means that there's going to be a femininity attached to him, to the way he shines. Whether it's a cute face or someone who is wealthy or someone who is maybe more emotional, maybe more passive. And on the upside, it can mean someone who's very intelligent, but on the downside, it can mean someone who's a little bit lazy. So it can mean a couple of those things. Also, it could mean that it's a good sexual understanding because Moon is very sensual, so he's a very sensual person. Also, his sun is in Shravana. Shravana is a star in Capricorn, so he's a Capricorn Moon. Shravana is very sensitive. I mean, actually, it is sensitive, but Shravana is very sensual as well. Shravana people are known to have nice bodies, and I've never met a Shravana Moon guy that didn't have a nice body. And these people are no different. Shravana people honestly are very sexy. They the deity associated with Shravana nakshatra is Krishna, and Krishna was good looking. Krishna was they even say in the ancient scripture, Krishna was a model lover. So he was handsome, he was good and bad. He was also very good at music, and he was very good at entertaining in general. But whether so this means that he could have been a good actor. He could have been a good singer. He could have been a good comedian. Even if he was like, he wanted to be in the news, he could just be a good news anchor. He would just have that charisma. Because also, who else is Shravana is Harry Styles. Harry Styles is a Shravana sun. Yeah, so, I mean, and Moon, when people have a lot of Moon or Mercury in their chart, they will be child stars, or they'll just be like looked at from an early age. So and he was technically a child star, wasn't he like a teenager when he was in One Direction, or when they first started? Yeah, Shravana Sun, you can think of Krishna. But these people are also weirdly introverted. These people are, they can get, there can be a little bit of depression there. Not even gonna lie. There can be a melancholy. This is still Capricorn. Capricorn is Saturn. Saturn can be depressing. Does he not know his father or something like that? Either his father is very, very wealthy, very rich, or he just doesn't know his dad because his dad died or something like that. Because Saturn is here ruling the moon, but also, why did I say that? But that's the maternal side. Damn. Anyway, let me not go there. So there's something like with one of the parents. Let me not go there real quick. I want to continue with the beauty placements. Yeah, I mean, I just can go on and on with Shravana. Did he grow up poor? I don't know. It's like either end of the spectrum, either he grows super poor or super rich. Anyway, moving on. He's a Vishaka ascendant. That's a Libra. That's Venus. So Venus is ruling his chart, and it's in the second pada of Taurus. So Jupiter nakshatras, the second pada will always be a Taurus Navamsa. So not only is he a Libra ascendant, which is Venus, but he's a Taurus Navamsa, which is more Venus. So this means Navamsa kind of rules the second half of your life. So this means that like when you have Venus ruling the ascendant in your birth chart and in the secondary chart of your life, that means that Venus is there connected. So that means he's going to be beautiful throughout his whole life. So even if he had made it to an old age, he would have been a very handsome man. Vishaka people can go through turbulent ups and downs. This is Jupiter. Jupiter can go through really crazy experiences. Jupiter can be bad boys. Like Jupiter most definitely can be the sexy bad boy. And the fact that he's Shravana moon, it could have been a sexy bad boy who was like actually very introverted. You know what? Also, not gonna lie, Shravana drinks. Shravana can be known to drink, and Shravana, especially that Shravana ascendant, yo. But honestly, Shravana anywhere, sun, moon, or rising. Like, doesn't have to be, but a lot of times drinking is at play, girlfriend. Like, yeah. Like, there's an actor, and it's like, I don't want to name names, but I mean, there's an actor, and he was known for being a motherfucking drunk, and he was a Shravana ascendant. I know someone in my personal life who is a major alcoholic, unfortunately, and she is a Shravana ascendant. My ex's brother died of alcoholism, and he was a Shravana sun and Shravana moon. So Shravana, when anyone with Shravana in their chart, and I'm talking to you who's listening, like that's a star in Capricorn. Watch out for the drink. Watch out for the sauce. But when you mix that with Vishaka, which is that star in Libra, it's a Jupiter nakshatra. So it makes you very sexy because Jupiter itself is a it's a male planet. So you see the manliness, and this is his ascendant. This is his first house. This is his body. So when you're looking at his body, when you're looking at him physically, it's Vishaka. So it's kind of like you see that masculinity. You see like a man's body or something like that. But then it's in the second pada of Taurus. So then it's just beauty. Taurus also rules the face, right? So not only this will make him not only a sexy body, masculine body, but then a really cute face as well. Not only does Taurus rule the second house, but let's look at his second house, which has Rahu in there. Rahu is sexy. Rahu is very cute. Rahu cares about their looks, and believe it or not, Rahu can be vain that way. Rahu likes to be hot. Rahu doesn't not Rahu. It's funny because Rahu is either like really kind of simp energy. I hate that word. And then they'll be like fat and like chubby and very sensitive, or they'll be like very hot and sexy, but then they need to watch out for their attitude because they can have a fucking attitude. And it's an Anuradha, which is a star in Scorpio. So then that's where you get those smoldering looks, those tall, dark, and handsome type men. Like Ross from Friends is Anuradha. Dude, he was fucking sexy when he was young. You should look at those old Friends episodes. I'm like, damn. Like, it's a very sexy. It's tall, dark, and handsome. So, like I said, Ross. And have you ever seen What Lies in the Shadows? The guy who plays Nandor, the tall vampire, he's sexy too, and he has tall, dark, and handsome looks too, and he's Anuradha. Your boy Bill the Universe is tall, dark, and handsome, and I am an Anuradha ascendant. So this is Scorpio. So this gives people like those smoldering Scorpio legs. Now I'm talking about. But yes, Venus in the 10th house. What is that? Venus aspect in the 4th? Venus in the 10th house. I mean, 10th house is public display, right? And he's got Venus in Pushya, Cancer. He's got Venus in Cancer. That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, damn, what the fuck? I mean, that means that when we look at him before we even see his ascendant, Because you don't really see someone's ascendant unless there's like a photo shoot or meet them in person. But you will always see someone's 10th house because 10th house has got the most visibility. And the planet in his 10th house is Venus. And it's in Cancer. Cancer is the most beautiful sign. So you don't just see someone who's very sexy because he's a Jupiter ascendant, very masculine type, but he's also just very beautiful. And it's Venus in the 10th, guys. So it's artistic and it's romantic and it's this can be their career because 10th house is profession, Venus is the arts. Obviously he was a singer, right? He could be a singer. Cancer is very beautiful. He could have just been a model. He could very good with women, very 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 good with women. He could work with women, he could work for women. And Pushya is the most beautiful nakshatra. It's a star in Cancer. Like Halle Berry is Pushya, Angelina Jolie is Pushya. Whose chart did I just read? Tayana Taylor's Gaithu is in Pushya. Yeah. I mean, baddies are Pushya. So this, and a Venus is a man's woman, a man's wife, a man's girlfriend. So this means that his girlfriends being in the 10th house probably were also performers. Maybe they were models, maybe but they were very beautiful. They're fucking beautiful. Maybe they grew up poor or something like that. And then, or maybe he did too. Bush is Saturn. Like Saturn is humble beginnings. So, but yeah, people see beautiful. People see beauty. And it's so lunar too. And it's aspecting his 4th house. His Venus is aspecting his 4th house. That's good. Oh, right. And he has a benefic Agendra from his, right? 7th. Okay, cool. Wow. He's just beautiful. He just has good beauty placements. What can I say? Even let's say if he was ugly. Let's say he was ugly, right? He would be still so sensual. He would be such a good artist. He would have like a very beautiful, sensual, smoky voice. I've never really heard him in general. I'm a little bit too old. I'm a 90s kid, so I was more NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. I was already in my 20s when One Direction was hot, Yeah. And then his Gaithu is in Rohini. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Rohini people are tall and they're beautiful, they're pretty, they're rich, they like wealth. Here's the thing. Rohini, and the fact that he's got Ketu and Rohini and he's got Mars and Hasta, honestly, not trying to sound crass of the dead, not trying to be disrespectful, but that's kind of like a big penis placement. Like, it makes it juicy. Just saying. Like, Mars and Hasta already, I actually did a study on men with big penises, and the number one placement for Mars was Hasta Nakshatra. That's a star in Virgo, and that's exactly where he has his Mars. And it's in the 12th house. That's kind of crazy that he has Hasta Mars in the 12th house. That's kind of crazy, girls, ladies. That's kind of crazy. And the fact that his Venus is in Pushya women are freaks. And 12th house is sex, and that's where his Mars is. And Hasta Mars can make a man kind of hung. And it's conjunct to Jupiter, and Jupiter expands. So this is someone who has a very, very rich sex life. This is someone who like went after his like fantasies and it was granted to him because Jupiter is luck and it's in the 12th house of sexual desires. And it's Mars there. Mars is fucking. Like, I don't mean to sound crass, but it is. Like Jupiter sexually is like when you get pregnant, Venus sexually is the sensuality, and the hedonism. But Mars is the actual penetration. So the fact that it's in the 12th house of bedroom desires, conjunct the planet of expansion, this means that, yeah, he had a very, very rich sex life. Yes. Good for him. And He's a Magha's son. Magha's son people are very freaky. And a lot of them, I'm not even gonna lie, a lot of them are actually kind of perverted. So the fact that he's got a son in Magha Nakshatra, which is Leo. Leo's the father. Leo is the ultimate creator, right? Leo is the ego. So Leo is sexual. Leo doesn't mind, and like I said, it's in the fourth navamsa of Cancer. Moon is very sensual, and he's got his Venus in Cancer, his actual Venus in Cancer, in the 10th house. Yo, this is it's crazy. Honestly, this is kind of bad. This is a bad boy chart. Like, not even gonna lie. Okay, Mr. Payne. And it's got Ketu and Rohini in the 8th house. Damn. That's like because Rohini is so sexual. And 8th house is the house of penetration, which is really fucking fascinating. Now here's the thing: his 8th house is also other people's resources, and his Ketu is in the his Ketu rules the maternal lineage. So it's almost like he was gonna get an inheritance from his mother, something like that. Because Ketu was, like I said, his maternal lineage, and it's in the 8th house of other people's resources. So that's like inheriting a maternal inheritance, something like that. And it's Rohini. Rohini is Taurus. Rohini is also very expansive. So I do see a lot of wealth in his chart. Now I want to talk about his Maraka houses. Maraka houses are the houses of the death, okay? This is very sensitive, but I want to talk about it anyway because I think it's interesting. Now, from what I understand, he died by accident, by falling. And that's how he died. So the 2nd and 7th house, which are the Venus houses, are called the Maraka houses. Those are what's called the death houses. They describe your death, okay? Now, his 7th house is in Aries. Aries rules the body, okay? Now, you might think, no shit. His death is going to have something to do with his body. Doesn't have something to do with all of our bodies. Yes, it does. But when you have Aries, it means, first of all, Mars rules Aries. So that means something, penetration, cutting, blood, something like that. Something with the body, something violent, because it's Mars, right? That's one thing. So then you look at the other house, which is the 2nd house. The 2nd house, he's got Rahu there. Okay. Rahu rules foreign places. And from what I understand, he died in Buenos Aires, in Argentina. Okay. The other thing is his 2nd house is in Scorpio. That also is ruled by Mars. And Scorpio does rule death. Scorpio also rules like things all of a sudden happening. Leo and Scorpio, when you have those two energies mixed together, like your 8th house and Leo, something like that, dude, like, watch out. Like, you will have shit that all of a sudden happens to you, Leo is the sign of surprises, and so is Scorpio. And so he has his Rahu in Scorpio in the 2nd house, which is a Maraka house, which is a death house. So the fact that he has his so the two houses again for death houses are 7th house and 2nd house. Both of these houses are Mars ruled signs, Aries and Scorpio. So Mars is blood, Mars is tamasic. Tamasic meaning killing, meaning negative things, And yeah, Mars rules the Maraka houses. So I think that's actually very, very interesting. Now, there's nothing. What is Saturn? Does Saturn aspect his 1st house or something? What is Saturn aspect? 7th. Whoa. That's very fucking interesting. Saturn is the house of delay, and Saturn can take away, and Saturn can mean death. Remember, I said the Maraca houses are the second and the seventh houses? Saturn aspects the seventh and the second house. That's crazy. I'm just now noticing that. And it's aspecting the 11th house. And guess what's in his 11th house? His sun, where he shines. This is almost like saying, like, it's Saturn that activated something, that activated his second and seventh house because it already aspects it, and the 11th house, which means that when he would have died, because his sun is the 11th house being aspected by Saturn, this could mean that, like, maybe it was big news or something like that. So remember, like I said, like, sun shines. That's fucking crazy, bro. And his sun is in Leo. Remember I said Leo surprises? And it was a big fucking surprise when we all found out. That's nuts, bro. That's fucking nuts. Wow. Interesting. Now, I do see natural musician in his chart. Even if he wasn't famous, I think he would have been a musician. I think he still would have been a musician. Maybe he would have gone into politics. Maybe he would have gone into his dad's business. Maybe he would have gone into something like that. But he could have even gone into education because it's a, like I said, it's a moon. It's a Cancer Navamsa. You know, moon people are good at teaching, especially when they got Magha right there, and they're already moon people, being a Shravana moon. Yeah, he could have been in teaching or in education or worked with kids. Honestly, that's crazy. It's like, that's so funny. It's like it's kind of a bad boy chart, but it's also like good with kids. But anyway, natural musician. Yeah, he's a Magha moon. He's a Magha sun. Like I said, Michael Jackson is a Magha sun. I am a Magha sun. Like, people who are Magha sun, like, they're statistically are musicians. Also, it's aspecting his fifth house of the arts. I mean, the sun is where you shine, right? And it's in the talented Leo. So not only is in the 11th house of groups, which is funny because he was in One Direction. That's so funny. I'm like finding things out like as I talk. But it's also aspecting the fifth house of the arts. So I think that's really cool. His 10th house, his Venus is in the 10th house, like I already said. That's a natural knowing. It's a natural appreciation of the arts. It's a natural, it's liking feminine things, like the arts, like ballet, like dancing, like whatever. And then he's got his Saturn. Now it's interesting because he's got his Saturn in the fifth house. Saturn delays, Saturn takes away, and it's sitting in his fifth house of the arts. But his Saturn is in a Mula Trikona, which means it's sitting in his own sign of Aquarius. So it's actually working really, really well for him. This would make him like an authority figure in the arts. And he was, because he was a part of the most profitable boy band in the music industry for a decade. You know what I mean? But this could have also meant, again, with the education. Yeah, I do think he could have been a music teacher. Makha already is a natural leader, and the fact that it's aspected in the fifth house, and then he's got a Mula Trikona Saturn in the fifth house and Venus in the 10th. Bro, he really, really, first of all, this would make him just very, very talented. Very, very talented. Okay, does he have his own music? Has he made his own like albums or whatever? This would give him a lot of natural talent. This is honestly, don't, not like, no shade. This is the most natural talent that I've seen of all the charts from the One Direction. I think I've looked at everyone's chart. I literally have a video on everybody's chart. I'm doing Liam's video. I did Zayn's. I did Harry's. I did Niall's. I know there's another one. Isn't there a fifth one? Well, regardless, I lost my point. Um, okay. Now, I'm just going to tell you what I see. All right, guys? Okay, Lord, forgive me. What I see is a bad temper. Okay? He's got Mars in the 12th house. Mars in the 12th house, people, a lot of times, I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm just going to paraphrase. A lot of times they're not nice to their girlfriends. Okay? Women who have this who's another man who has this placement? Chris Brown also has his Mars in the 12th house. Okay? When women have this placement, they can attract men who are not nice to them. Do you know who has Mars in her 12th house? Rihanna. And also Selena Quintanilla, the Mexican singer who died like 30 years ago. She was killed. And she also has this Mars in her 12th house. So when women have Mars in their 12th house, you need to watch out for your boyfriends. And when men have their Mars in their 12th house, they are the boyfriends that are not very nice sometimes. The other thing is that his gate through is in Rohini. Rohini can be motherfucking hellish. And the fact that it's in the eighth house can be very restless. And the fact that Rohini is a moon nakshatra, moon is bipolar. First of all, moon, it waxes and wanes. So it is like up and then down. It's in, it's out. It's not the same. Like it is not the same mood. So the fact that he hit already his sun, he's so moon. He's a Shravana sun. That's a moon nakshatra. His sun is in the fourth navamsa of Cancer. Then he's got his Ketu in Rohini in the eighth house. That's a lot of restlessness. That's a lot of, it's like a lot of restlessness, and it's a lot of like kind of like fragile nature, like hair trigger type nature, and that you would that suggested that you get it from he gets it from his mom's side because it's Ketu. Ketu is a maternal lineage. Now, the other thing about bad temper, yeah. Oh, speaking of Moon being up and down, being bipolar. He's, like I said, Ketu and Rohini, that's Moon. Moon and Shavana, that's Moon. Makan the fourth and Vamsa, that's Moon. His ascendant is the second Pada. Is that Moon? I don't know. And then he's got his Mars and Hasta. Hasta is a Moon nakshatra. That's all that's so much Moon. Now, on the upside, Mars in the 12th house can mean that you spend a lot of your time and energy traveling. So that's very interesting that he was in a foreign place when he passed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mars is aspecting the what? The third, the sixth, the seventh. Wow, this makes him very successful. This makes him a good worker. Good for him. This makes him a good worker. Mars is aspecting the third house. The third house is the house of competition. He could have been good at sports. I wonder if was he good at sports? Was he a good basketball player or something like that? Football player or whatever? When Mars aspects the third house, this makes him a fighter in competition. They're really good. They're really good. They're successful. Sixth house is also a work house, and it's also a kind of a fighting house. So you want something, you want a natural fighter who, yeah. And so Mars is aspecting the sixth house. Okay. Now, remember I told you Mars in the 12th house can, wait, 7th house, really? Yes. Okay. Remember I told you Mars in the 12th house can kind of make boyfriends who are not nice to the girlfriends? Now he's got Mars aspecting his 7th house of relationships. And Mars is tamasic, baby. What do I mean by tamasic? When a man is tamasic because of Mars, this means that he's very sexy. He's very sexual. He's good at sex. He's the bad boy. But the temper is there, and you have to watch out for that. Yes, he has. So his moon. Let's look at yogas. His moon is in Achara Rashi. Fleeting fame and fleeting friendship, fickle nature. That's interesting. Y'all tell me about his nature. Y'all are the fans, so y'all tell me. Fleeting fame. I mean, I always kind of thought he was the least famous of all of them, like after they broke up or whatever. But y'all tell me. This is interesting. Wanderlust. Remember I told you this was a lustful energy, but also wanderlust. You know what's so funny? Wanderer, like a vagabond, like someone who wanders the lands, one who just travels. So I wonder why it's again like traveling. Also, his Rahu is an Anuradha nakshatra. Anuradha is known for being a wanderer. They travel. Like, for example, I'm an Anuradha nakshatra. I'm an Anuradha lagna. And I'm going to go on this discovery trail. It's a trail that you walk. It's from Delaware to California. Like, that's just what Anuradha people do. Okay, let me look. What else? He has a Vapi yoga. That's Akriti. It's an angular house. It's a Vapi yoga. Angular Vapi. Where are you, Vapi? Vapi. Where the fuck is it? Oh, okay, I see. Vapi means well or reservoir, all planets and non-Kendra houses. Yeah, he has most of his planets in non-Kendra houses. Okay, accumulating wealth, small but lasting comforts, long life, sweet-tongued, tends to... I can't read that. Okay, well, he didn't have a long life probably because of those Maraca houses. And Saturn was motherfucking aspecting all those Maraca houses. I can't get over that, bro. I cannot get over that. But anyway, small but lasting comforts. Yeah, that makes sense because I feel like he was the least famous, and it's so funny because you know what, you know who, oftentimes are the not the least famous is the most real ones, like the most talented ones, and this is the most natural talent I've seen in all the charts of people from One Direction. That's really fucking interesting. Okay, and then he has a Pasha yoga. It's a Sankhya yoga. Okay, let me look. Hold on. Pasha. Okay, large family, skillful in earning wealth, crafty, impolite, likes living in the forest, many drawbacks because Pasha means bondage, indulges in worldly pleasures, and creates spiritual bondage. I think that's very, very, very interesting. Um, yeah, and I do see a lot of finance. I do see finance. He had Mars and Jupiter in the 12th house of pleasures. He had Jupiter and Mars and Hasta. Hasta is a very rich nakshatra. He could have been in finance. He could have been in stocks and bonds. He could have been in currencies and futures. Venus in Cancer. That's all about wealth, and it's aspect in the 4th house of securities. That's what I'm saying. Like he could have been in stocks. He might have had stocks. I don't know. His Jupiter's aspecting the 8th house of wealth, other people's wealth. His Ketu was in the 8th house, which means he would have been energetically like given in some type of inheritance already. And then opposite Ketu of Rahu is in Taurus. I'm sorry, is in the second house. Is in the second house of just collecting. Rahu in the second house. Those people are hoarders. Actually, they like to collect, but they are very sensual people, and they like to collect a lot of things. Okay, I've done everything. I've said everything. Yeah, Vishaka ascendant people. Those people can have really, really tough lives. Usually it's in the 4th Navamsha that where they have really tough lives. But I mean, Vishaka, Jupiter in general, like I don't give a fuck where Jupiter is in your chart. Like they can live really tough lives. They're very sexy. Honestly, they're very giving too. That's actually a big problem with Jupiter people. They actually give way too much. Okay. Yeah, bro, this is kind of like a very serious chart in some ways. Like, yeah, secretive, bad boy for sure, sexy, sexual, beautiful. Those killer houses that I was describing, that's fucking nuts. Those Maraca houses, again, Mars was ruling those Maraca houses. And Saturn was aspecting those Maraca houses and the 11th house, which is where his sun is. That's so fucking fascinating. I'm gonna like do a whole new thing on that, just that one thing alone. I think that's the most interesting takeaway from this whole chart reading was the fact that his Maraca houses were activated by his Saturn, which is the planet of delay and taking away. Like death can happen, but Saturn can make people die. Like for real. Okay, guys. All right, guys. All right, bye.